Hi folks, let's take a look at the services tab component. First of all, it's usually going to be located in the services page. You can pretty much put it wherever you want. But really, it's just a modified version of the Bootstrap tabs already included there. We've just done some really cool things with the CSS to give it a certain effect. So boom, boom, boom. Basically, you click a tab, it displays different HTML content. Now, something you should be aware of is this box right here. If you add more tabs, you may need to add a little bit of blank space, like hit the enter key a few times to expand the size of the boxes, because there is no height applied to the box by default. But if you add like 10 more tabs, the little line here, little line here is not going to connect to the box. So it's just something to keep in mind. I would suggest trying to keep the services tab to like 4, maybe 5, unless you have a lot of content for each box. Right, so that's just an aesthetic thing. It's just not going to look great if you have a whole bunch of tabs and then little short boxes over here. You can, if you want, get rid of the blue line that connects it, but that was one of the features of it to sort of connect the button over to the box over here to give it a bit of a unique look, right? But with that unique look also comes a couple of drawbacks, and like I said, the drawback is if you have a lot of tabs on one side but you don't have a lot of content over here, the little line is not going to match up with the tab with kind of no box. So you could either use some hit the enter key after your final paragraph to just give some blank space to increase the height of the box artificially, or get rid of the blue line altogether as more of an advanced update if you wanted to do that. But let's get in here. Let's just show you how to update the tab and make sure that the tab links to the content. We'll add one more button and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in Dreamweaver, we're just going to right click on our services tab placeholder and select open library item. First of all, I'm going to do the Control Shift I or Command Shift I to see what I'm doing. Just so you know, tab 1, 2, 3, and 4, this little bit of information, that won't show up in your page. It's only here or only visible in the library page. Same with the tab content headings. Now, as you can see, each tab, that's the name of the tab, that's the text used for the tab button, services tab 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then over here, these two paragraphs of text right here, that's the HTML content that shows up when you click that particular button. You can put whatever HTML content you want, video, image, you name it. As I was mentioning, if you need to have more buttons, you may need to artificially, add to the height of the tab content, just sort of by hitting the enter key a few times, giving it some extra paragraph breaks in there to artificially make it taller, so to speak. But if you wanted to add another tab, you just have to make sure that when you add a new tab, that you give it a unique reference, and you also need to add another content block and give that reference an ID. You need to make sure those two things match up. If you've watched the FAQ video or the product details page talking about the tabs in those pages, you'll get the idea. But let's just flip over to code view here. Aside from updating the content you already see in the page, which is pretty straightforward, if you need to change the tab button name, new service, that's, can't even spell, there we go. That's all you have to do, just type it in like so. Put your content where these paragraph tags are right here, or where this text is right here. It's not actually a paragraph, it's just a text, right? But put whatever HTML you want in there. Let's add a new tab. To add a new tab, scroll to the top. Tabs are already, see that? It's all commented for you, so you just copy one, paste it down below. That creates a new tab. I'm just going to reorganize these, so tab 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'm only doing this so that when I'm in the design view I can count and keep organized. Tab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, now that I've added a new tab and it's gone into the tab 2 position here, see this reference of tab 1? I'm going to need to change this. I'm going to call this new tab, and I can call this whatever I want. I suggest you use one word. If you use multiple words, just put them together. Don't use spaces and hyphens and all that stuff. Just make all the letters go together like I have right here. Now down lower in the page, I need to create a content region for that tab to connect to. So if I add a new tab over here, I need a new region or something to show up over here when I click that button, right? So I'm going to go down and copy tab 1, and between the two comment tags here, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to change my reference, and here's where I have the reference to new tab. So when I click on this new tab or tab 2, I need it to link to this one that I've copied right down here. So we see where my ID of tab 1 is. I'm going to paste it in to have new tab like so. So we'll just do tab 2 content like so. All right, so this is I might as well change this as well just to keep organized for a second. And 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to do this stuff right here. These keeping these headings organized. You can do whatever you want with them, but like I said, it's just for me visually, it keeps me organized. I'm going to update this right now just to see where I'm at. Okay, cool. So it's updated my services page. I'm going to save my services page here before I preview it in my browser. Save. Okay. Let's go and have a little look-see, see what happens. See if it blew up my face. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. Okay. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that fits just nicely. Like I said, now if I need to add more, this is where the box you see isn't going to change in height unless I have more HTML content. The more stuff I have over here, the taller this box is going to be, right? So here's number 2. How do I know if it's showing the right content or whatever? Let's just go and make sure that tab 2 here. Let's just change this and then make sure that new tab is showing the right HTML content and we linked it up correctly. I once again have to save my services page before I preview it. Done, and let's just make sure this works. Services tab 2, tab 2. But let me quickly bring you back to this goofy little thing that happens when I refresh the browser. See when the page first loads up, both tab 1 and 2 show up, and actually the content for tab 2 shows up down here as well. But when I go to tab 3, goes back to normal, 2 normal, 1 normal, 5 normal. Why is that? Let's go back to Dreamweaver because there's one more thing we need to make sure. When we copy, if we're going to copy tab number 1, which is what I did, I'm just going to go up top here. See how it has a class? This is the first tab, tab 1. It has a class of active. I copied it and pasted it, and it still has the class of active. But if I look down at tab 3, there's no class, there's no li class whatsoever. It's just a normal li tag. All I have to do is if I copy the first tab and paste it, is make sure that I remove the active class so that when the page first loads up, the web browser isn't trying to display both the first and the second tabs as being the selected or the default display for the web browser. So let me just do one last save of the services page here. We'll go back and we refresh, and then it should load up. Boom. Oh, did it save properly? Yeah, bonehead I am. You have to do the same thing for the tab content. I missed that part. So when we copy and paste the tab content, see how it's a class of active here? See that class active there? If I go down to the next tab, it's just got tab pane fade in. Okay, so we need to get rid of inactive like that and save, and then it'll work. And there we go. Now we'll hit refresh, and there we go. There's tab 1, there's our tab 2, 3, 4, and 5.